Have you ever caught yourself mid-sentence, talking to your dog about your day, and then stopped to wonder if any of it actually lands? You tell them you're tired. You ask if they missed you. You whisper their name just to watch their ears move. And in that moment, something passes between you. Something that feels bigger than words. But what is it exactly? What is actually happening inside your dog when your voice reaches them? Because here is the truth that science is only now beginning to fully uncover, and it may change the way you speak to your dog forever. Your voice is not just sound to them. It is something ancient, something felt deep in their bones, something that shapes the entire atmosphere of their world from the moment they hear it. To understand what your dog actually hears when you speak, forget everything you know about language. Your dog is not sitting there parsing your sentences, searching for nouns, or mentally filing away vocabulary words. What they are doing is something far more powerful, far more intimate than that. Imagine standing at the edge of a slow river. You are not reading the water, you are feeling it. The warmth of it, the pull of the current, the way it rises and falls. That is your voice to your dog, not a series of words, a current of feeling flowing directly into them. And the science behind this is breathtaking. In a landmark study published in the journal Science in 2016, researchers discovered that dogs actually process human speech using both sides of their brain, just like we do. The left side handles the actual words. The right side processes the emotion and tone behind them. But here is where your dog is profoundly different from you. They lean almost entirely on the music of your voice, the warmth, the rhythm, the way your breath rises when you are excited or drops when you are sad. That emotional melody is what they are truly listening to, far more than anything your words could ever say. So when you whisper, "Good boy," in a soft, gentle tone, their brain lights up with something that looks remarkably like joy. But say those exact same words in a flat, distracted voice, and to your dog, the meaning vanishes entirely. It is not the word that carries love, it is the way you say it. So the next time you speak to your dog, try this. Slow down your voice. Soften the edges of your words. Let the warmth you feel actually move through your throat and into the air between you. You do not need a script. You do not need the perfect sentence. Your dog is not waiting for perfect. They are waiting for you, the real, unguarded, unfiltered version of you that lives inside your voice. Because to them, that voice is not just communication. It is home. And the deeper you understand that, the more profoundly you will begin to see what your dog has been trying to tell you all along. But if dogs are not truly listening to your words, then how do so many seem to know their own names, or light up at the word walk, or freeze the moment they hear the word no? The answer to that is not what most people expect, and it is far more beautiful than simple obedience. That is exactly where we are going next. Have you ever noticed the way your dog's whole body changes the moment you say a certain word? Not just their ears, their entire being shifts, like something electric just moved through them. The word walk turns a sleepy dog into a spinning, trembling, barely containable force of nature. The word treat, and suddenly those heavy eyes are wide open, locked on you like you hold the secrets of the universe. And the strange, almost magical thing is, they never went to school. Nobody sat them down and handed them a vocabulary list. So how does this happen? The answer is something science calls associative learning, and once you understand it, you will never hear your dog respond to a word the same way again. In one of the most famous animal intelligence studies ever conducted, researchers at the University of Leipzig worked with a border collie named Rico. Rico could correctly identify over 200 different objects by name, not because he understood language the way you do, but because he had done something far more beautiful. He had linked specific sounds to specific experiences. The word ball did not mean ball to Rico the way it means ball to you. It meant the rush of chasing, the joy of catching, the warmth of bringing it back to someone he loved. The word sit did not mean a position. It meant the calm focus before something good happened. Your dog is doing this exact same thing every single day with every word you repeat, every routine you build, every moment of love you pour into the ordinary. And here is the part that will stay with you. When your dog learns a word from you, it is not just a command they are storing. It is a piece of shared history. Because every time you repeat that sound with love, you are stitching it into their memory alongside the rhythm of your footsteps, the smell of your skin, the specific light in the room where it always seems to happen. Your words to your dog are not instructions. They are photographs, snapshots of moments you have created together. And that is why something as simple as the word home, or the sound of your dog's own name spoken softly in the dark, can feel like a hand reaching through time to find them. Think about the words your dog knows that are yours alone, the nickname only you use, the little phrase you say before a walk, the sound you make when you are happy to see them. Those are not just words. Those are threads woven into the fabric of who they are. Every time you said those words with tenderness, you were writing yourself into them, and they held on to every single syllable. So here is something you can do starting today. The next time you use one of your dog's special words, say it slowly. Say it like it matters. Because to them, it does not just matter. It is one of the most meaningful sounds in their entire world. It is the sound of you choosing them again and again, wrapped up in a single breath. But if words are only pieces of a much larger picture, if they are just snapshots inside a longer, deeper story, then what is the full language your dog is actually fluent in? What speaks to them even louder than any word you could ever say? To understand that, we have to travel somewhere much older than language itself. We have to go back to before there were words at all. And what we find there will completely change the way you move through the world with your dog beside you. There is something your dog knows about you that you have never told anyone. Not your closest friend, not the person you share your life with, not even yourself sometimes. Your dog knows it anyway. They knew it this morning when you woke up. They knew it the moment you walked through the door. They knew it even before you opened your mouth to speak a single word. And the reason they know is not magic, though it feels like it. The reason is something ancient, something written into their very nature over thousands of years of living beside us, watching us, learning the secret architecture of what it means to be human. Because your dog is not just listening to you, they are reading you, completely, constantly, with every sense they possess. Long before dogs slept at the foot of our beds, their ancestors lived in packs where survival had nothing to do with words. What kept them alive was the ability to read the room, to feel the shift in energy before the storm arrived, to sense the tension in a body before the danger showed its face. That ancient skill did not disappear when dogs came inside and learned to love us. It deepened. It turned inward, and now it is aimed entirely at you. When you speak, your dog is not just processing the sound. They are reading the rise and fall of your chest, the subtle tightening in your shoulders, the way your jaw holds itself when you are carrying something heavy. Researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Hungary used brain imaging technology to show that the part of a dog's brain responsible for processing sound lights up not just for words, but specifically for emotional tone. In simple terms, your dog feels your mood in your voice before they even begin to understand the sounds themselves. They are not waiting for your words to finish. They already know how you feel before the sentence ends. Think about what that means for the quiet moments, the times you are sitting on the couch telling yourself you are fine when you are not fine at all. The nights you move through the house slowly, not speaking, just existing in your sadness. Your dog is there in those moments, not by accident, not out of habit. They are there because they felt something shift in the air around you, and every instinct they carry told them to move closer. This is why so many dog owners describe their pets as their most honest relationship, because your dog is responding to who you actually are, not the version you perform for the rest of the world. They do not see your mask. They see the weather underneath it. And over time, they memorize your weather completely. They know the warmth of your good days and the heaviness of your hard ones. They know the specific rhythm of your footsteps when something is wrong. They know the sound your breath makes when you are trying not to cry. And they hold all of that inside them like a map, always orienting themselves back toward you, always adjusting to whatever you need them to be. Here is something gentle you can try. The next time your dog presses close to you without being called, without any obvious reason, do not brush it off as clinginess or coincidence. Stop for a moment. Take a breath. Ask yourself honestly what you are carrying right now that you have not said out loud. Because your dog already knows. They came to you because they felt it, and all they are asking, in the only language they have, is to be allowed to sit with you inside it. You do not have to explain yourself to them. You do not have to perform being okay. You only have to let them be there. Because being there, quietly, faithfully, without condition or judgment, is the oldest and most profound thing a dog knows how to do. But if your dog can feel your unspoken emotions so precisely, if they can map the invisible landscape of your inner world with such extraordinary accuracy, then what happens when that landscape changes suddenly? What happens inside your dog when your voice breaks, when the house goes quiet, when the person they have built their whole world around is hurting in ways that cannot be fixed with closeness alone? That is where we go next. And what science has found there will leave you seeing your dog's loyalty in an entirely new light. There are moments that happen quietly, without warning, when you realize your dog knew something was wrong before you did. You thought you were holding it together. You thought the smile was convincing enough, the voice steady enough, the routine normal enough. And then you looked down and found them already there, already pressed against your leg, already watching your face with those deep, still eyes that seem to reach somewhere past your skin and into the part of you that aches. And you wondered, how did they know? The answer to that question is one of the most stunning discoveries in modern animal science, and it will make you look at your dog's quiet presence beside you in a way you never have before. In 2022, researchers at Queen's University Belfast conducted a study that confirmed something dog owners have felt in their bones for centuries. Dogs can smell human stress. Not sense it vaguely, not guess at it, actually smell it. When we are anxious, when fear or grief or overwhelm moves through our bodies, we release a hormone called cortisol, and cortisol changes the chemistry of our breath and our sweat in ways that are completely invisible to us, but absolutely unmistakable to a dog. In the study, dogs correctly identified stress samples with a level of accuracy that stunned the scientific community. What this means is breathtaking in its implications. When your dog lifts their nose towards you in a quiet room, they are not simply sniffing the air. They are reading the invisible diary of your body. They are detecting the story your nervous system is telling, the one you have not spoken aloud to anyone. They are smelling your fear, your grief, your exhaustion. And then they are choosing to move toward it rather than away. Let that sit with you for a moment. Because that choice, that movement toward your pain instead of away from it, is not instinct in the way we usually mean the word. It is something closer to devotion, something closer to love made physical. Your dog does not come to you when you are hurting because they do not understand what pain is. They come to you because they understand it completely, in their own ancient way, and they have decided that wherever your pain is, that is where they belong. And the science behind what happens next is just as beautiful. When a dog makes physical contact with their owner during moments of stress, when they lean in, when they rest their head on a lap, when they press their warm weight against a trembling body, both the human and the dog experience a rise in oxytocin. That is the hormone at the center of bonding, of trust, of the feeling that you are not alone in the world. The dog is not just comforting you, they are, chemically, biologically, rebuilding the feeling of safety inside you, one heartbeat at a time. So here is something worth doing. The next time your dog comes to you unbidden, when you did not call them and nothing obvious happened but they came anyway and simply put themselves beside you, let them. Do not redirect them, do not get up, do not tell them you are fine. Just rest your hand on them. Feel the warmth of them. Let their slow, steady breathing become a rhythm your own body begins to follow. Because what they are offering you in that moment is not just affection, it is ancient medicine. It is the oldest form of healing one creature can offer another, and they are giving it to you freely, fully, without ever asking for anything in return except the simple privilege of being near you. But here is where it deepens into something almost spiritual. Because your dog is not only responding to your stress in the moment it happens, they are tracking the patterns of your emotional life over time, building an internal map of who you are on your best days and your hardest ones. And that map, that living, breathing record of everything you have felt in their presence, is something they carry with them always. Which raises a question that is almost too profound to sit with comfortably. If your dog is holding that map inside them, if they are carrying the emotional imprint of your life together, then what are they doing with it? What does it mean that they remember not just your routines, but your feelings? That is exactly where we are going next. And what we find there changes everything. There is a moment that almost every dog owner has lived through, but very few have words for. You are not doing anything special. You are just moving through an ordinary evening, washing dishes or folding laundry, or sitting in the low light of a quiet room. And you feel it before you see it. The weight of a gaze. You turn, and there is your dog, across the room, perfectly still, just watching you. Not asking for food, not waiting by the door, just watching. And something in that look reaches you in a place that is hard to name. It feels like being truly seen, like being known. And the extraordinary thing is, you're not imagining that. Because what your dog is doing in that moment is something science is only beginning to fully understand. And it is far more profound than simply looking. Researchers have found that when a dog and their owner make eye contact, both experience a surge in oxytocin, the same bonding hormone that passes between a mother and her newborn child. This is not metaphor. This is measurable biology. The simple act of your dog looking at you and you looking back is creating a chemical loop of connection that deepens your bond in real time, every single time it happens. But beyond the biology, there is something even more astonishing happening in those quiet moments of mutual gaze. Your dog is not just seeing your face, they are studying it. They are reading the micro-movements of your expression, the tension around your eyes, the softness of your mouth, the way your brow changes when something is worrying you. Dogs are one of the only non-human animals on the planet that have evolved specifically to read human facial expressions. They developed this ability not in a laboratory, but over thousands of years of living beside us, needing to understand us, choosing us again and again. And here is where it becomes something that is almost impossible to hold without feeling it in your chest. When your dog looks at you from across a room, they are not just passing time. They are checking on you. They are taking the temperature of your world. They are asking, in the only language available to them, "Are you okay? Are you safe? Do you need me closer?" And when you meet that gaze, when you hold it for even a few seconds, you are answering them. You are saying, "I see you seeing me. I know you are there. You are not invisible to me." For a dog, that recognition is not a small thing. It is everything. Because a dog who feels truly seen by the person they love is a dog who feels safe in the deepest sense of the word. Not just physically safe, but emotionally anchored, held, known. So here is something you can practice starting tonight. The next time your dog looks at you from across the room, do not look away. Do not reach for your phone. Do not get up to do something else. Just hold their gaze for a few quiet seconds. Let your face soften. Let your shoulders drop. Breathe slowly so they can see it, so they can feel the calm moving through you. Because in that moment, you are not just making eye contact. You are having a conversation in the oldest language in the world. You are telling your dog, without a single word, that they matter, that you feel them, that you are grateful they are there. And they will understand every syllable. But if this silent dialogue between you and your dog runs this deep, if it operates on the level of hormones and evolution and 10,000 years of choosing each other, then what happens when you learn to truly listen back? Not just to receive what they offer, but to actively respond to their emotional cues the way they respond to yours. Because when that shift happens, when the conversation truly becomes two-sided, something changes between you that is almost impossible to describe, but completely impossible to miss. That is where we go next, and it is perhaps the most beautiful part of everything we have uncovered so far. What if the most important conversation you have ever had with another living being has been happening in total silence every single day, and you have only just now begun to hear it? Because that is exactly what starts to occur the moment you stop talking at your dog and begin truly listening to them. Something shifts. Something opens. What was once a relationship built on commands and routines and the comfortable familiarity of shared space begins to transform into something far richer, far more alive. It becomes a dialogue, a real one. And the moment you step into it, you will wonder how you ever lived without it. Science has a word for what happens between two beings who are genuinely attuned to each other. In psychology, attunement means the ability to sense and respond to another's emotional state in real time, not after the fact, not as a reaction, but in the flowing present moment of shared experience. And a 2020 study in the journal Animal Cognition found something remarkable. Dogs not only read human emotions with extraordinary accuracy, but humans who actively respond to their dog's emotional cues, who notice and answer them, build measurably stronger, more secure attachments with their pets. The bond does not just feel deeper, it is deeper. Verifiably, biologically, undeniably deeper. And here is the miracle hidden inside that finding. The more you listen, the more your dog trusts. And the more your dog trusts, the more freely they give you access to everything they are. Their joy, their fear, their silly, unbridled enthusiasm, their quiet, heartbreaking tenderness. You are not just improving a relationship, you are unlocking a whole new level of it. So what does listening actually look like in the ordinary moments of a shared life? It looks like noticing when your dog sighs and asking yourself what they might be feeling rather than assuming they are just tired. It looks like recognizing that a slow, low tail wag is a different conversation than a fast, loose one. It looks like understanding that when your dog yawns in a moment of tension, they are not bored. They are trying to calm themselves, and possibly trying to calm you too. It looks like feeling the difference between the dog who leans into your hand wanting more contact and the dog who leans away, gently, quietly, asking for just a little space. These are not random behaviors. They are words in a language your dog has been speaking to you since the day they arrived in your life. And every time you notice one and respond with gentleness, every time you slow your breath when they settle beside you or soften your voice when they press close, you are speaking that language back. You are telling them, in terms they understand completely, I hear you. I feel you. You are not alone in this. For your dog, that recognition lands somewhere profound. It is not just comforting, it is transformative. Because a dog who feels genuinely heard by the person they love does not just feel happy, they feel safe in the way that changes everything, the deep cellular safety of being known. And from that place of safety, something extraordinary grows between you. Not just affection, not just loyalty, something closer to resonance. Two beings vibrating at the same quiet frequency. You do not need perfect words for it. You do not need grand gestures or elaborate routines. You only need presence. Real, unhurried, open presence. And in that stillness, something blooms between you that science can measure in hormones and attachment scores and brain activity, but that no measurement will ever fully capture. Because what it really is, at its deepest and most honest, is love made conscious. Love that has decided to pay attention. But if listening back opens this much between you, if it creates this quality of connection, then consider what your dog has been carrying all along inside that connection. Because your dog is not just experiencing your relationship in the present moment. They are holding it, storing it, building something from it that lives inside them long after each moment has passed. And what they build from everything you have shared together is something so profound, so quietly staggering, that it will change the way you think about memory itself. That is exactly where we go next. Close your eyes for just a moment and think about a smell that takes you back. Maybe it is the particular scent of a place from your childhood, or the faint trace of a perfume that belonged to someone you loved. In an instant, before your mind has even formed a single thought, you are there, fully, emotionally. The feeling of that moment alive inside you, as though no time has passed at all. That is the power of memory tied to the senses, and your dog lives inside that power every single moment of every single day, except their version of it is deeper than anything you have ever experienced. Because while you remember moments, your dog remembers feelings, and the feelings they have stored most carefully, most completely, most tenderly inside them are the ones that belong to you. For a long time, scientists believed that only humans possess the kind of memory that could hold specific experiences and the emotions tied to them. But a landmark study published in the journal Current Biology in 2016 changed that understanding forever. Researchers discovered that dogs possess what they called episodic-like memory, a system that allows them not simply to recall routines or respond to conditioning, but to remember specific experiences and, crucially, the emotional texture of those experiences. What this means, in plain and breathtaking terms, is that your dog does not just remember that you come home every evening, they remember how it feels when you do. They remember the particular quality of the joy that moves through them when they hear your key in the lock. They remember the warmth of the specific moment you sat beside them on the floor and held their face in your hands. They remember the comfort of the night you were crying and they pressed themselves against you, and you held them like they were the only solid thing in the world. Every ordinary moment you have shared with your dog is not just a passing experience to them. It is being written into them, carefully, permanently, the way a river writes itself into stone over years and years of patient flowing. The sound of your keys, the rhythm of your particular footsteps in the hallway, the way you say their name when you are genuinely happy to see them versus the way you say it when you are distracted and tired. They have cataloged all of it. They have held all of it. And they carry it with them the way you carry the people you love most, not as a collection of facts, but as a living warmth inside the chest, always there, always available, always orienting you back toward home. And here is where it becomes almost too beautiful to bear. Because your dog is not only storing the bright moments, the walks and the play and the celebrations, they are also holding the heavy ones, the long silences, the evenings when the house felt thick with something unspoken, the mornings when you moved through your routine slowly, carefully, the way people do when they are trying not to break. Your dog was there for all of it, and they folded those moments into themselves too, not as wounds, but as understanding, as a deeper and more complete map of who you are. And from that map, they have built something extraordinary. They have built a version of you that lives inside them, a version made entirely of feeling, of warmth and weight, and the specific gravity of your presence in their world. So here is what that means for the life you share with them right now, today. Every moment of genuine tenderness you offer your dog is not lost. It does not evaporate when the moment ends. It goes somewhere. It becomes part of the living archive they are building of your time together, the one they will carry inside them for the rest of their lives. So be tender often. Be present when you can. Say their name like it is something precious. Because to them, every one of those moments is a treasure they will keep forever, long after you have forgotten it happened at all. But if your dog is carrying this much of you inside them, if they are holding your voice and your habits and your emotional fingerprint within their memory, then what does that mean for the nature of their loyalty? What is actually happening when a dog remains faithful not just through the good days, but through the long, hard, unglamorous stretches of a shared life? That is the question that leads us somewhere almost sacred, and we are going there next. We use the word loyalty so easily when we talk about dogs. We say it the way we say the sky is blue or water is cold, as though it is simply a fact of nature, obvious and unremarkable. But loyalty is not a simple thing, and what your dog offers you is not the simple thing that word usually means. Because loyalty, as most people understand it, is a choice made once and held, a decision, a stance. But what your dog gives you is something that has to be rebuilt and reaffirmed and chosen again inside every single day you share together. It is not a fact, it is a living act. And the science behind it reveals something so quietly staggering that once you understand it, the word loyalty will never feel like enough again. In 2019, researchers at Kyoto University made a discovery that reframed everything we thought we knew about why dogs stay. They found that dogs do not simply bond with their owners out of dependence or conditioning. They actively evaluate the relationship. They notice fairness. They remember kindness. They register when they have been treated with patience and gentleness, and they register when they have not. Their loyalty is not automatic. It is not simply the result of being fed and housed and kept warm. It is something they have weighed, considered, and chosen, reinforced by every shared heartbeat, every quiet evening, every moment you reached down and acknowledged them when you did not have to. Your dog has decided, again and again, in the small, unremarkable moments of ordinary life, that you are worth staying for. And that decision, made without language, without negotiation, without any of the complicated social contracts that hold human relationships together, is one of the purest things one living being has ever offered another. Think about what that means the next time your dog does something frustrating. The chewed cushion, the muddy paws on clean floors, the way they bark at absolutely nothing at 2 in the morning. In those moments, it is so easy to feel exasperated, to raise your voice, to let the irritation spill out before you have had a chance to catch it. But your dog is not keeping score of your perfect moments. They are not waiting for you to be endlessly patient or consistently gentle or always at your best. They have already decided about you. They decided a long time ago, in some quiet moment you probably cannot even remember, that you are their person. And that decision holds even on your worst days, even when you are tired and short-tempered and not the version of yourself you most want to be. Your dog looks at that version of you and stays anyway, chooses anyway, loves anyway. And if that is not something worth pausing for, worth being humbled by, worth trying to honor in return, then I do not know what is. Because here is the truth that sits underneath all the science, underneath all the research and the studies, and the extraordinary findings about memory and emotion and the ancient bond between our species. Your dog is not with you because they have no other choice. They are with you because out of everything their world contains, you are what they have chosen to build that world around. You are the center of their emotional universe, the fixed point everything else orbits. And they carry that choice inside them not as a burden, but as a joy, a quiet, steady, unshakable joy that you can see in the way they lift their head when they hear your voice from another room, in the way they exhale slowly when you sit down beside them, in the way they find you, always, no matter where you are in the house, because wherever you are is simply where they want to be. So here is what you can do with that knowledge right now. Think about one small way your dog has shown you faithfulness recently that you may have taken for granted. The way they waited for you, the way they followed you from room to room, the way they pressed close on a night when you needed it without knowing they were doing something profound. And then find them, wherever they are right now, and give them something back. A hand resting gently on their side, your voice saying their name softly, just because. A moment of unhurried, undivided presence. Not because they need you to perform love for them, but because they have been quietly performing it for you every single day. And some part of you, the part that has been listening to everything we have uncovered together, knows that it is time to perform it back. But even this, as profound as it is not the final destination of everything we have been tracing together. Because if your dog carries your emotional imprint, if they have chosen you so completely and held you so faithfully inside themselves, then the question that remains is perhaps the most haunting and beautiful one of all. What do they carry of you beyond the moment? What lives on inside them from everything you have shared? And what does that mean for the legacy of love between a human and a dog? That is where we go now, to the very last and most breathtaking thing science has found waiting for us at the end of this extraordinary journey. There is a particular kind of quiet that settles over a house when a dog is gone. Anyone who has lived through it knows exactly what I mean. It is not just the absence of sound, it is the absence of a presence. The corner where they used to sleep feels different. The spot by the door where they always waited carries a weight it did not have before. You reach down out of habit and find only air. And in that moment, with stunning and almost unbearable clarity, you understand something you could not have fully understood before. Your dog was not just living beside you, they were holding something of you inside them. Something you cannot name, but can feel the loss of completely. And what science has found about this, about what dogs actually carry within them from the lives they share with us, is perhaps the most profound thing we have uncovered in this entire journey together. A 2021 study published in Scientific Reports found that dogs can recall emotional events tied to their owners even after long stretches of time have passed, responding more strongly and more deeply to the voices and faces connected with experiences that carried emotional weight. What this tells us, in the quietest and most staggering terms, is that your dog is not only recognizing you in the present moment, they are carrying the emotional residue of every moment you have ever shared. Every laugh that filled the room, every evening you sat together in comfortable silence, every time you were broken open by something hard, and they came and lay beside you without being asked. All of it lives inside them, not as a record, not as data, but as feeling, as warmth, as the living shape of who you are to them. Think about the small things your dog does that you have perhaps never fully paused to consider. The way they curl up in your chair after you have left the room, pressing themselves into the hollow your body left behind. The way they carry one of your shoes to their bed, not to chew it, just to have it near. The way they wait at the window long after your car has disappeared from sight, still watching the place where you were. These are not random behaviors. They are not quirks or habits without meaning. They are acts of remembrance. Your dog is holding the space you occupy in their world as though keeping it warm for your return. They are tending to the outline of you, the way you might tend to something precious and irreplaceable, carefully, faithfully, with a devotion so complete it asks for nothing in return. And this is why the loss of a dog feels, to so many people, like losing a witness. Not just a companion, a witness. Because your dog knew the rhythm of your days in a way that no other living being did. They knew which mornings you moved slowly and which ones you moved with purpose. They knew the sound of your laugh before it was fully formed. They knew the particular way your energy changed on Sunday evenings when the week ahead began pressing down. They were there for the versions of you that you never performed for anyone else. The tired versions, the scared versions, the quietly joyful versions that you lived only inside the privacy of your own home. And they held all of those versions with equal tenderness, equal presence, equal love. To lose that is to lose something that cannot be replaced, because what they were holding was not just their love for you, it was a reflection of you, a living, breathing, warm-bodied mirror of everything you are when no one else is watching. So what do we do with all of this? How do we honor a devotion this complete, this ancient, this quietly extraordinary? We honor it by waking up to it while we still can, by refusing to let another ordinary evening pass without feeling the full weight of what is sitting at our feet, or pressed against our leg, or watching us from across the room with those steady, knowing eyes. We honor it by understanding that every moment we give our dog our real and genuine presence is a moment they will carry inside them forever. a thread woven permanently into the fabric of who they are. And we honor it by recognizing that the love between a human and a dog is not a small thing dressed up in sentiment. It is one of the most ancient and extraordinary bonds in the entire story of life on this earth, a bond chosen freely, held faithfully, and offered completely, day after quiet day, without condition, without end. And now we have arrived at the last place this journey was always leading. Not to a conclusion, because this kind of love does not conclude, but to a resting point. A place to breathe and feel and look around at what is actually here with you right now. And that is exactly where we are going to end. Think about the universe your dog lives inside. It does not contain a career, or a calendar, or a long list of obligations pulling them in 100 different directions. It does not contain grudges or regrets, or the particular human torment of wondering whether you are living your life correctly. Their universe is smaller than yours, and more luminous for it. And at the absolute center of that universe, brighter than everything else, more constant than anything else, is you. Just you. The sound of your voice, the smell of your skin, the rhythm of your presence moving through the rooms of a shared life. You are their sun, and they have been orbiting you faithfully, joyfully, with their whole heart, from the very first moment they knew you were theirs. So right now, before you do anything else, find them. If they are in the room with you, look at them. Really look. Let your eyes soften and your breath slow and your heart open just enough to feel the full, staggering, beautiful weight of what is sitting there looking back at you. If they are asleep, go to where they are and rest your hand on them gently, just to feel the warmth of them, just to remind yourself that this living, breathing, devoted creature is real and here and yours for only a little while. Because that is the truth we must hold alongside all the wonder. A dog's life is heartbreakingly short. The years go faster than we are ever prepared for, and every single day that passes is a day we will not get back, a day we could have spent more awake to the miracle of them. Forgive them for the small things, the mess, the noise, the inconvenient timing of their needs. Forgive them the way they have already forgiven you for every sharp word, every distracted evening, every moment you were too tired or too busy to be fully present. They forgave you without hesitation and without record. You can do the same. And when you do, something lightens between you. Something that was always possible, but perhaps never fully realized, begins to breathe. Now we want to hear from you. What is the one thing your dog does, that strange, specific, quietly perfect thing that you have always half noticed but never had words for, that you now realize is simply them loving you in the only language they have? Tell us in the comments. Your story might be the thing that helps someone else finally see what has been right there beside them all along. If what we uncovered together today moved something in you, if it made you want to be more present, more gentle, more awake to the extraordinary creature sharing your life, then come and be part of this community. Subscribe to The Soulful Dog, not for the videos, but for the reminder to slow down, to look, to listen, to honor the bond that asks so little and gives so completely. Because next time, we are going even deeper into the secret inner world of your dog, into something that will change the way you understand everything they do when they think you are not watching. And you will not want to miss it. Your dog has been waiting their whole life for you to truly see them. We are just getting started.